All right. Bright and early. Bright and stinking early. I'm talking 6 o'clock. I kind of like doing an early lift sometimes, which usually I would be against, right? Like in a bulking context, I want to make sure the lift is as stimulating, as intense as possible. I want to wait till I've gotten a ton of food in me and I'm extra full and I'm like, all right, my glycogen is just maxed out to the freaking brim. But right now, it's not the case. I'm just aiming for muscular stimulation. So, still 30 minutes of cardio afterward, but I forgot to, I don't know why I forgot to record the car talk portion. I think I'm still kind of in the process of waking up. And it's cold in here, so I got the sweatshirt underneath the hoodie. So, in terms of back, I'm going to keep it relatively simple. Pull downs, pull overs, and rows of a few varieties. And honestly, that's probably about it. I mean, some of these lifts have been getting very simple. Like some of the arm days are literally just squeezing rope extensions and preacher curls. Yesterday's chest day was just cable-based fly work and some cable pressing. And I think half of that is to do with the fact that, I mean, all I'm really aiming for is stimulation right now. Like I know I'm kind of repeating myself there, but I'm not growing. All I'm doing is maintaining the beef that I've already got. And frankly, I kind of have to pull back on the throttle a bit in terms of the training intensity because of the recoverability factor I have with the diet and, the whole deficit and everything. It's not the same. Like, remember a couple of days ago when I said I might have overdone it on biceps? I can still feel the peak is a little bit extra sore from doing those heavy V-bar curls. Yeah, I should have gone a little bit more light and squeezing. But don't worry. Heavy, nasty lifts will return. But until then, let's just focus on getting warmed up and limber and move on to whatever set number 1 ends up being for this back day. Let's change it up. Start with some V-bar rows. Or no, what I was saying, some neutral grip pull downs, I mean. Oh, goodness. Oh, my goodness. One more. A little heavier and a little faster tempo. All right, let's get a row started now. Swap from lats to more upper back. These will be good. Light squeezing, and I want to imagine my shoulder blades pinching together like a freaking vice at the top of every rep. Oh my God. Okay. Oh, one more, I think. Okay. Okay. All right, let's get a little row superset in with a pull down. And I think that will be it. Back pump wise. Basically the same shit with the rows, except this time with 2 long D handles instead of the lat grip pull down. Or the lat grip attachment. Then jump over here, do some lighter pull downs, and now I'm getting excited. Oh, let's just finish the set. Not thinking about the pump check just yet. A little wider grip than before, too. Okay. Okay. Let's find some lighting. All right. Lats pumped, traps pumped, and then all the fancy kind of like, Terry's Major looking stuff in here, kind of separating the two. They got some work as well. So all there is to do now is actually see what it ends up freaking looking like. Boy. So let's get a quick little glimpse here. Oh, shit. All right. We got something going on for sure. Not that that's a surprise, but let's see. We're getting there. Seeing just a touch of ab veins, even just leaning back a little bit. And triceps, the left one especially, as grainy as I've ever seen it. Now, not like, the freakiest it's ever been, but for me at least, that's all I'm talking about there. But let me give a little more of a close-up kind of shot. Well, I would go so far as to call that a pretty solid back pump. Now all I gotta do is camp out and see the bike, but for you, let's get in the car. You tell me. You freaking tell me. Is this too wide of an angle? That's kind of funny looking. I might zoom it in and post if I think it's too silly. But yeah, good back day, cardio done, and I can definitely tell that there is an energy hit right now with these lifts. Like it's not negligible. Well, I wouldn't say running on fumes, of course. Like obviously I'm still eating enough food to keep this whole system kind of running, right? It's only a marginal deficit, right? I need this much to just run, and I'm trying to eat a little less so that that gap comes from body fat, right? But in terms of physical output, strength performance, and even just like subjective like feeling of energy and kind of hype, it's definitely a little lower, right? And that's the cost. That's the payment for the getting leaner, So with the bulking up and the cutting down, and I mean really with trying to make any kind of reasonably like noticeable changes to anything you do, and it's a give and take, man. You can't get anything without giving up something of equal value or more, right? I'm talking Full Metal Alchemist, Brotherhood, right? None of this original mumbo jumbo. Anybody who knows what I'm talking about there, you get it. But that's the price, man, right? And the world's a little unfair because some things are a little easier for others than others. Whatever. And in more of a lifting context, when it comes to the spectrum of the spectrum of lifters, you've got guys where they got a basic appetite, they eat a regular amount of food, they lift a regular amount of weights, things work out basically normal, right? They stay a pretty decent body fat percentage around that 12-ish% range. That's just what they float around at. That's normal. And then there's characters where you got some grub, right? You got some grubbing just ingrained into your freaking brain where your normal kind of body fat percentage is maybe upwards of like 20-ish. And what I really mean by that is like their baseline appetite, hunger level, and just, sort of like physical drive to eat food is a bit higher. So those guys, they're going to have a bit of an easier time putting on size and beefing up because getting food down is not a challenge for them. But in reverse, right, in exchange for the ease of bulking, now they're going to have a much more difficult time cutting down because to limit their appetite sucks. They're used to eating a ton of food. That's their baseline state. So to go from that to not even just down to like a low maintenance, but into a deficit, right? Deficits are hard enough already for the average dude. So if you've already got a little bit of a beefier appetite, then it's going to be tricky to, break it down like that. And vice versa for the hard gainer. Oh, dude, I eat so much, bro. And typically that kind of comes along with a little bit of calorie inflation where, this guy doesn't have a huge appetite. Like he's not eating 1,000 calories at once just in like, snacks and stuff. Like if you just let me roam free in the kitchen right now and it was a fully stocked kitchen of like treats and everything else and cereal, I mean, there it is. Cardio bike still there. waiting for somebody to take it. But so for somebody who is, you know, a little bit lower on that appetite range of things, then yeah, you know, they feel like they're eating a ton of food, right? So maybe their baseline intake is legitimately 1,600 calories or 1,800 calories or something, like low. And if they're working out, I mean, like if you actually work out consistently, like even 2,000 calories a day, that's pretty low. I mean, when people talk about 2,000 calories for the average dude, that's how much people run on just to like walk around at a desk job and then come back home and, you know, do no other physical activity, right? That FDA recommendation is a little bit wonky, right? It doesn't take into account serious exertion. But for that guy, he might feel like he's eating a lot of food. And that's not like a, oh, well, dude, who cares how it feels, bro? Just keep eating. Like, just eat more. Like, they have a legitimate bar that it's very difficult to cross. I'm like, dude, I feel like I'm eating so much, seriously. But in reality, if the guy actually tracked his macros, usually these guys end up saying some shit like, yeah, man, I've been eating like 6,000 calories a day and I just can't gain weight, you know, because that's kind of a diversion tactic. So instead of having to say like, yeah, man, it's hard for me to eat above 2,500, I actually counted all my calories, and that's like my bar. I can't get past it. I feel sick if I try to eat more than that. You know, instead of saying something like that and putting in the time of trying to weigh everything, the guy's like, oh, well, I feel like I ate a ton. You know, I had like 3 eggs and 4 slices of toast this morning for breakfast. It's like a 2,000 calorie breakfast, bro, like 80 grams of protein. I'm just a hard gainer. And it's like, yeah, man, not exactly. You know, you're a hard eater. So with both of those types of situations, you can train yourself up to it, right? Like for anybody, whether or not you have I mean, you know, some guys go from pretty serious, nasty eating habits in terms of all sweets, 0 protein, 0 activity levels, flipping their life around fat loss transformation style to protein, you know, eating like a regular lifter. So you can start from a pretty difficult place, and, you know, same thing with anything. The more you do it, the better you get at it, and the more experience you get at it. And it's, you know, it's like a situation where the further you go from home, the more comfortable you are being away from home, right? So if you've never dieted before, even just like trying to go about one day of tracking all your calories, like not even limiting yourself, not even anything, just everything that you eat, track it, count it, add it up, look at the nutrition label. You don't even have to be 100% accurate, just like try and track it. That is a huge freaking step. Like in terms of the gradient from 0 dieting knowledge to badass, like if I want to bulk, I can bulk. If I want to get lean, I can get lean. I know the steps to do it kind of situation. Just going from putting no mind in your diet at all to downloading a macro tracker app of any variety and starting to count for a couple of days and just see what your calorie intake is like. That's basically this. Like if you did that for a week, you're 60% of the way there. Easily, if not more. And then the more you do it, the more you get kind of a grasp of like, okay, all right, because you start to get a little bit of pattern recognition. So let's say you've got a chest day later, you had, you know, 400 grams of carbs, 150 of fats, and, you know, 150 of protein so far. You know, you ate a lot of food that day. You should start to realize like, well, I feel good. Like I feel strong. I feel well fed. I'm carved up. This is a good lift. Huh. My lift improved from having eaten a reasonably like good amount of food beforehand. All right. And as time progresses even longer, dude, holy crap, I'm up 3 pounds. I'm 3 pounds heavier than I was a month ago. Yeah. This bulking thing has been really freaking working. You know, and then right before you know it, the next time you want to lock into like a somebody just got. The next time you want to lock into a bulking phase or a dieting phase, you know, it's no longer a question of, okay, all right, I'm going to try to do a bulk. I'm going to try to diet. Like, it was definitely like that in the beginning, because when I've never bulked or dieted before, it's I'm breaking into new territory. Like, I'm seeing what I can manage to do. But now it's not a question, right? And I would like to think it's that's kind of an obvious sort of statement where, you know, when I say I'm going to start a bulk in, you know, 6 weeks, 8 weeks, or whatever, it's not a question that I know I'm going to be able to get up to that 280, 285, whatever kind of pound range. You know, I can't say exactly where that number is going to be, but I know bumping up my body mass up 40 pounds or however many pounds, that's not an if, right? That's simply a when. Because once you've gone through the whole process of this dieting and everything, then you start to know how to do it, and it's only a question of doing it. So that's what I really like about the working out. If you get a good grasp on it enough, then it's simply, you know, an activity to, you know, take an endeavor down. It's not a question of, okay, am I going to be able to do this? It's, all right, I know what to do. And everybody basically knows what to do already. Work out, eat your protein, do your cardio. You don't even need a serious routine. Like, it's so silly. Like, I'm getting out of this whole little like ramble I was just in, but like, I find it so strange how much like emphasis everybody's putting on making sure every workout is, you know, you gotta hit your pec major with 3 sets of volume. You gotta hit your this, that, and dude. If if for this next bulking phase, or if you took a kid who's never worked out before and you just put him onto like a calisthenics body weight pull-up based workout routine with like just straight burpees and everything else, and like more kind of hybrid work, like maybe kind of CrossFit-y, calisthenics-y, like just body weight agility kind of stuff. If you had him train crazy hard and eat enough food to support that training, the guy's gonna make gains. You know, I mean, look at all these like wrestlers and kind of, you know, MMA guys, more so wrestlers. I feel like some of these guys are legitimately just yoked, like just huge, like just a straight jack dude, and they're not even doing any weight-based workouts. Like, they say it as a flex. They're like, yeah, I don't lift weights, I just wrestle. Because whatever training they're doing, they go hard at, they eat enough food to support it, boom, you know? So don't freak about the details. That's my main point. Do not freak about the details. So 8:30 a.m. I don't even remember last time I finished a lift this early. Ugh. But yeah, now the lift's out of the way, what the hell am I supposed to do? I don't know if I want to rewatch Berserk yet. I feel like it's been a little too soon since the last time I watched it. I don't want to like overdo it and, you know, like spoil myself with it. But we'll see. We will freaking see. No matter what I end up doing, a calorie deficit will always be kind of on the not on the back burner, but sort of constantly, you know, simmering. And hopefully I can distract myself from it enough that I don't feel like I'm you know, sitting around trying to keep myself from running into the kitchen and just eating everything in sight. So I think that's all I got, man. Good back day, dead gym, pumped AF, and don't forget, I'm carb depleted right now. Right, I'm as muscularly, I'm as small as I've ever been, because all my little, you know, intramuscular fibers, like if you put a microscope onto my lats or my biceps or whatever, right, all these fibers of, you know, muscle, they're kind of shrunk down a bit, right, because they're not full of all that sarcoplasm and intramuscular fluid and carbs and water and everything else. So I'm getting really excited to see what I look up carbed up, but that's for later. So that's all I got. Hopefully it's not as gloomy for wherever you are as it is for me today, but that's not enough to put me down. I'd have to have my damn windows at the house blow in from like a freaking tornado for the weather to really be a problem. But now I'm just rambling. So I will see you tomorrow for what will either be a cardio Q&A or an arm day. We'll just have to see.